What up? What up, y'all? It's 7 o'clock on a what? On a Tuesday. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Brian Forbes right here live and in living color. And if you have not already, make sure that you go to that YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button inside Steppin, y'all, on all platforms, because we're here to impart good information, good times, and to maintain the culture and history of our dance while we all enjoy one another's company. Now, normally, when we start the show, I go through and I give you all my disclaimer. So I'm going to do it verbally today. And that is, the views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of its host, Urban Arts Enterprises, its advertisers, or affiliates, and are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities that they represent. Now, I'm doing that verbally today because we're going to open the lines for you all to participate in today's show. Amazing, yes. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. Vonda Powell is in the building. David Calhoun, my man from the crib, my homie. Oh, look, Poppy Forbes is watching. Hey, producer lady, even you're tuned in. What a wonderful day. Y'all know I got to mess with you. Well, I'm going to tell y'all, I got a few things on my mind. Nothing too deep today. We're gonna keep it light and we're going to keep it fun. How they say, we're going to keep it light and airy. I got to start out, y'all. I had the most fantastic time this weekend in Houston, Texas. There was stuff going on all over the country, of course, like always. And the topic seems to continue to come up. What's up, Tam Tam? I see you. We missed you this weekend, Tam Tam. We got to do something about that. I know you're going through a thing, and my prayers are with you. And I want to also point out to the rest of the world, to the rest of the Steppers world, that y'all keep in mind that we have a very large Steppers family throughout this entire nation, and it's critically important that we keep one another close to our hearts and in good spirits. Let me once again, before I continue on, say rest in power to my man Casper. They had his memorial service this week, and I apologize for not being able to attend. I really would have loved to have been there to pay my respect to that brother. Man, I ain't gonna lie, it would have been hard on me, but I mean, I can handle it, but it would have been rough. It's rough anyway, just a thought of not being able to pick up the phone and call that brother, and them times he would call me at 1 a.m. talking about absolutely nothing, but I was here for it, so you know what I mean. I don't feel bad about that. Yoshi Davis, that's Yoshi Lips, y'all. Y'all check out Yoshi Lips. She got a thing going on with them lipsticks. So for all of us to just, and y'all know I'm gonna beat that dead horse. I'm gonna beat that horse to death about us staying on top of each other and loving on each other the way we need to. It's critically important that we do that. So a lot of stuff happened this weekend. Events across the country, of course. And I try not to do too much talking about stuff that, I didn't attend. But I'll tell you what I did attend. I was at Third Weekend in Texas, down here in Houston this weekend. And, baby, let me tell you, my man Daryl Smooth Greenwood got it in at the studio on Friday night over there with Ron Brown, his business partner on that venture. And, man, we had a fantastic time. And it got me to thinking about a lot of different things. It is important, and I know we've been discussing this a lot lately, and I want to continue to push this idea that in our respective cities, we gotta work together, y'all. I'm encouraging people from city to city, and I know it's hard because I've had a struggle with it right here in my own city, and I would be remiss if I did not try to tell you to do as I say and not as I do, only because as hard as I and others around this city had worked to try and unify our community, there's always going to be people that are going to find ways to disrupt and buck the systems. Let me give a shout out right quick to my man Carlton Davis Tuffy, relocated from over there in Gary, one of our Steppin staples in that area around Chicago, has moved to Houston. I had an opportunity to kick it with that brother just a little bit this weekend at the original Red Rooster, legendary Third Sundays with my man Cochise Big Chief Productions over there, and my man Stevie Ray, the musical engineer. We had a fantastic time. It is wonderful to see people that are leaving the city, that are moving to the South. And what I love the most, and I'm bringing this up for a specific reason, what I love the most about the way that brother came through the room was that he came in and he began his networking journey in another part of the world. Right off the bat, he came in, he said, hey man, I just want to, I want to meet people and I want to blend in. He didn't say, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. He came in, he said, I want to blend. I respect that so much because it's necessary when you move into these different arenas of the steppers world. You need to understand that no matter what city you go to, when you're relocating and things like that, it's something going on already. Don't come there with the attitude like don't nobody know nothing and ain't nobody doing nothing. People from the crib, Chicago, we tend to do that sometimes. We got a kind of a chip on our shoulder. And I have to admit that when I first moved south myself, I was a bit aggressive. And it's just this is just a sort of a food for thought sort of thing, because there are more people that are relocating across the country. It doesn't matter from Chicago, it doesn't matter from where. C. Wands, I see you. Hey, how you doing? And Cheryl Head in the house, I see you. Thank you for checking in. Tracy Bivens in the building. Valeria Connor. Valeria, I'm looking forward to coming to Bloomington, Minnesota. We're going to have a fantastic time. Darlene Mans is in the house. Tracy Tolbert, that's my girl. Hey, Tracy. So I'm saying that when we go to these respective cities, as we relocate and do different things, and now keep in mind that tonight's conversation revolves around unification in the community and the ability for some of us to not necessarily have to get as deep into the politics of it all. Interesting conversation. I was talking to somebody this weekend, and you hear people all the time, they say things like, I don't want to be bothered with the politics. Well, nobody wants to really be bothered with everything that comes with being a leader in these communities. But there are a lot of people who are a part of the steppers world that, to me, have the qualifications to be leaders within this thing that we all love so much. I do not advocate people sort of taking a back seat because they feel like people are going to snub them or treat them some kind of way. And I'm also not advocating for people to step up and be loud and wrong. I'm advocating for those who are in the middle, who have something to offer our community. And there are so many. There's so many what I refer to as sleepers. We got sleeper promoters who are laid back because they don't want to take on the giant. We have sleeper DJs that are sitting back in the background that are great at what they do, but nobody knows who they are. We have sleeper people that are asleep who have the ability to articulate this dance to others. But the political side of this dance can get so messy sometimes that they don't want to be bothered. And so we understand that, but at the same time, understand this. There are people who become natural leaders in this thing. Karen Nichols, I see you. Thank you for checking in. They come through and they want to do things that are going to benefit everybody, but they get shot down sometimes. Sean Tischler, how you doing? They get shot down. And it's unfortunate because sometimes the people that are doing the most shouting and shooting people down are oftentimes people who really are not offering or benefiting the community themselves. It's easy to point fingers and criticize others when you're doing nothing. You know, we have this, there's this thing where you got people who sit around and they spend a lot of time talking about what other people are doing and ain't doing, yet they do nothing. That does nothing for me or really any of us, anybody else for that matter. And we can do better. Jerry Osler, my man Jesse Roy is in the house. Jesse Roy, look here, man. I'm looking for you, bro. I'm looking for you. I'm gonna talk about this thing here in just a minute. I'm gonna get into this conversation about you, Jesse Roy, and my upcoming expectations. Cause tonight we gonna talk about. Y'all do realize this is competition season. This is the time of year where all of the important contests take place. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I found out something recently, you guys, and it made me realize a couple of things. And I know as of late, y'all know I've been talking about the unification of the communities and how important it is for us to try as hard as we can, y'all. And I mean, it's rough. It's rough. I'm not going to lie, because I have my struggles in my own city attempting to work with people. But here's what I learned. You know, remember this right here. Familiarity breeds contempt. I'm going to say it again, because this applies to everybody in and out of this dance. Familiarity breeds contempt. When people think that they know you, or they know how you move or how you will move, that they have license, or they take, I won't say they have license, they take license to behave with you in particular ways, and they're not always good. We should spend as much time as possible getting to know the people around us in this dance, because we spend so much time together. You know, I don't know how a lot of people really realize how much time we actually do spend together at these sets. Sometimes more. I mean, I've seen some of y'all more than I have some of my own family, to keep it 100. But I learned that in my quest to improve upon my city and to try and bridge gaps with other people who were not necessarily friendly with each other, in my attempt to become a mediator, a person who helps to facilitate positive energy and benefits to the dance and the community, found out I had people who don't like me for that reason. I found out that, and y'all hear this all the time, you know how they say, just because you hate somebody, I'm not going to hate them. And you shouldn't. Everybody should have their own experiences. Cynthia Bean, how you doing, dear? Cynthia, I wanted to actually, I'm want to get with you about because y'all pay attention to Miss Cynthia Bean, please, because when you know, I have people that call me sometimes and they ask, where is the next event? What's going on? Cynthia Bean got it all laid out, baby. Anything you want to know about where something's happening in the Steppers world, you need to get with her. She got you. We find out that the people around us sometimes have things going on that are not, they don't mean well. They have nefarious intent. And I personally, y'all know how I feel about that kind of thing. I can't stand them. I can't stand people that's working agendas and trying to do things that go against the community itself. Bernice Newsom Short, understand this. Right here in Texas, we have individuals who, by right of passage, by right of work put in, by right of time, who should have had Texas locked down years ago. But because they chose to do things in sometimes questionable ways, that didn't happen. And I even found out this weekend that one of them don't even care that none of y'all like him. He's just going to keep doing what he does. I learned. Thank you, Cynthia Bean, for putting up. She put her website up, y'all, so you can check her out. Steppers 411. Hey, Lynn John. You find out that people have sometimes deliberate ill intent, and when you find these things out, we have to ask ourselves, how do we deal with them? Now, in the best case scenario, we just want to walk away. We just want to not be bothered at all and kind of keep it moving. But sometimes it's not that simple. As much as we would love to, it's just not that simple. Here's what ended up happening. I found out that by an individual not caring that I, as a leader in my community, not a self-proclaimed leader, but somebody that other people turn to in their times of question, of need, of information, that I'm able to provide freely, I might add, that someone else thought that I was no good because of my promotion and attendance, my lending of energy, resources, whatever I had to try and help that person to continue doing what they were doing. And I may not always agree with everything that somebody says or does, because there's a lot of stuff I don't like. Sharon Austin, how you doing, dear? That's my homie right there. There's a lot of stuff that I see that I don't care for around the communities. There are instructors that I think have no business instructing people. There are things that I see that I don't like, but just because they do something differently than I would, or something that I don't particularly care for, hey, Crystal Kane, doesn't mean that I should shoot them down. It's not my job. We're trying to grow this dance. And sometimes people got to come in strange ways. Sometimes people got to come in with stuff being done wrong. I can accept that. And we have to accept that. Because once again, just because we don't like something or someone doesn't mean that they don't have usefulness in the growth of our community. Sometimes people do things they don't know any better. Everybody doesn't have a point of reference. I just literally had a conversation with somebody today where that topic came up, and I had to remind them that sometimes people, like, you know how you get, and I know everybody here has probably experienced this, whatever city you live in, you have people that show up from other cities that are maybe popular, maybe not. And as you begin to learn, and this is with any lesson, period, there's a thing called paired associate learning. And even though they're teaching you something directly, there are peripheral things that you gather as information during that lends you or leads you down a particular path of thought, right? So what happens is, let's say the first person who shows up, because y'all know one of my favorite quotes is, it's easier to lie to people than it is to prove to people that they've been lied to. Because of that, the first person who tells you a story, you tend to latch on to that, and that becomes the basis for everything that you think about what that topic is from that moment forward. And this is where we get into trouble. I'll give you a backstory. I had a cousin, and may she rest in peace. She just recently passed. This was one of my cradle to the grave cousins. Her and I spent hours and hours and hours together, hanging out, playing, kicking it when we was little kids. I'm talking about all the way from the late 60s all the way up until, adults. Well, she was a troublemaker, my cousin. And she'd fight anybody. She didn't care. She was a wild one. But whenever my cousin would get in trouble, hey Myra, how you doing, dear? Thank you for checking in. Whenever my cousin would get in trouble, before anybody else, or she would do something that was just foul, right? And I had my great-grandmother, and everybody in my family know my great-grandmother was a piece of work, Jack. She had a piece of weather stripping out of a screen door from back in the day. That was her weapon of choice. Either that, a shoe. She had a few other things that she used to use. But my cousin would run. It's my cousin Tammy, man. She would run, and she, before anybody else could tell something that she did, now she go run tell it. So because she got there first in telling this story her way, that became the narrative, and you had to explain your way out of it to keep from getting your ass whooped. Well, I'm saying that to say that when sometimes people come into your city and they'll say things to you and you latch on to it and you think, okay, that's the information that I need, until later on somebody comes along and says that's wrong. And then you go, but no, I was told blah, blah, blah. And now you have to work in your head to try and differentiate between what's real and what's not. So then the question becomes, who do I believe? So we end up, Lando Winter in the house, we end up with dueling information, right? So when we're in our communities, in our respective communities, and we have people who come in and they say things that are not necessarily accurate, or they just don't know. And a lot of times they're telling y'all stuff just to get in your pocket, because they feel like if they sell you and tell you all the things that they think you need to hear, then they can continue to get you to pay them whenever they show up. Now, again, there are things that I see that I sometimes don't like. However, being a person in a community that is leading, and I use that term sparingly, only because I don't necessarily see myself as a leader, but I do like to see things done the right way, or I like to see things done, period, that I know are gonna, and I have my own selfish reasons for doing the things I did in the Steppin community around where I live, and that was because my wife and I made a decision a long time ago that I didn't want to get on a plane every time I wanted to go stepping. Chicago Steppin by the book. I see you. Thank you for checking in. I didn't want to always have to get on a plane every time I wanted to go stepping somewhere. So I want to build my community where I live, so that all I have to do is jump in my car, drive 30 minutes, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm cool. Well, in the process of that, I found out that somebody else didn't like me because they didn't like a person that I was associating myself with, which I associated myself with everyone in this city. Win, lose, or draw, like it or not. And I did that because I consider myself to be a resource, because I have the information, always have had it. And wanting to lend myself, or should I say volunteering myself, and sometimes you have to be careful where you volunteer yourself, because I know you biblical folks have heard the term casting your pearls before swine. Sometimes you end up offering information that is going to fall upon deaf ears, because individuals are not prepared to receive that information, and oftentimes because they don't want to, because it will disrupt whatever grift they have going on at the time. And that is unfortunate. Cynthia Bean said, right, I thought that was the purpose of Steppers Weekends, to build the communities. Exactly, Cynthia. But you have people who have so many other things, irons in the fire, if you will, or nefarious intentions, where their interests don't necessarily lie in building anything other than their pockets or their notoriety. You have a lot of people that are on a social ladder in this community. They're striving and working very hard to attempt to become popular among their so-called peers. It is unfortunate, but it is true. And so when I found out that this individual decided to cast or disparage me and cast me in a different light because of my involvement with everyone in my community, including somebody that they didn't like, well, now I have to, I'm not apologizing, because I'm going to do me. One thing that people need to understand about me in this dance is, although I have this show, I'm still a consumer of stepping. I still have my opinion. Yes, I try to keep it politically correct sometimes, and sometimes I try to keep it neat. Other times I don't. The producer lady sometimes she's in the background cringing afraid that I may say something and step on toes. And let me tell you something. I got on boots, baby. I don't mind. I don't mind. I just hate it when people give me toes to step on. That's the part I don't like. Richard Hill Jr., I see you. Thank you for checking in. I don't like to have to do that. I don't want to do that. But people sometimes just stick their feet out, and I have to stomp on their damn toes. So I do it. But we have... You didn't hear nothing. Get out. But we have, a lot of stuff that, like I said, that goes on within our communities that we all have to deal with to some degree, on some level. And I think that it's necessary for us to continue to try work as hard as we can to be together in these communities. A suggestion to you inside Steppin land in the Steppers world. If you live in a city and there are a group of you or 2 or 3 of y'all that are competing with one another in regard to regional events. Now, remember last week we went over regional, local, regional, and national events. These are the 3 types of events that we have in this community. You should be working hard to build your local community. And if that means that you need to pair up. Now let me give you an example. In Houston, and I want to use Houston as a model for this because they're doing great things over there. There are a few different organizations over there. You got Charlie's Angels, you got Faces of Houston, and I apologize for not knowing all of them off the top of my head. But here's what happens. Charlie's Angels gives their sets. Faces of Houston gives their sets. Big Chief Productions gives their sets. Daryl and Daryl Greenwood and Ron Brown give their third Friday set every month. Well, here's the beauty in it. When the time comes for each of them to give their respective sets, the people from the other organizations show up and support. I've witnessed with my own eyes people who don't necessarily get along in these communities work together and show up at each other's sets anyway. My rule here in San Antonio is that if I'm given a set, which at one point I was given a weekly set, I don't care if you don't like me. Admission is free. Show up and dance with the people you do like and enjoy yourself. Buy a couple of drinks from the bar. Help the community grow. This ain't about me. And toward the end of me stopping doing that, we were beginning to get people who had beef with each other showing up in the room. But we had some other stuff go on, and I had to shut that down. Now, for the record, yes, we are about to fire that thing back up, and it is going to be back with a vengeance, and ain't nothing stopping nothing no more. Not that anything stopped me. It's just that I had to stand back for a minute and let everybody else see, let the smoke clear, let everybody see what was really going on. But the beauty in Houston, right? We had third weekend this week. Man, I had a fantastic time. Daryl Greenwood, Ron Brown put on a set at the studio, off the chain. We had a fantastic time. Saturday night, Faces of Houston. Red, black, and white set in honor of your boy, DJ Be Real, Inside Steppin, and my man, DJ Mr. Mello. Man, we lit that spot on fire, baby. We tore the roof off. And we had a great time. But what I really, really loved, and y'all know my new mantra, is never measure an event. I want y'all to remember this now. Never measure an event by the quantity of people in attendance, but by the quality of the memories you create with the people who are present. Now, don't get it twisted. We had a whole lot of folks in the building, but I'm just saying. Let's see. Have you heard the saying, all politics are local? Well, the Steppin community needs to check itself. All questions to some of the people who have given a set for years. I'm going to check y'all out, but I got to walk. Reggie Miles, y'all. In the building. Missy Tina Turner Black, thank you for checking in. Stevie Wright, I see you. Now, the thing is this. Do y'all understand that we as a community are stunting our own growth by not being able to find a way to work together, even with our trials and tribulations? Marky G is in the building. What's happening, family? I rocked a bunch of your joints this weekend. It becomes critically necessary, and that you're gonna always have your standouts. You're always gonna have your upstarts and people that are seeking attention. You know, I like to refer to them as attention whores. They can't help themselves. They just gotta whore themselves out to get attention. But we can do better, y'all. And I'm really, really hoping, and I'm gonna continue to push it. I'm gonna push it within this community that we find ways to bridge these gaps. Now, in the midst of me finding out that someone didn't like me because of someone else that they didn't like to see me associate myself with, it's their loss. I'm unapologetic, y'all. It is what it is. I do what I do, and the things that I do, trust me when I tell you, anybody, and there are a lot of people on this live who know me personally. Many of you have never laid eyes on me, but the ones who know me and have known me well will tell you one thing. You're going to get the same dude online, offline, in person. It don't matter. Don't nothing about me change ever. Integrity is critically important to me. The truth, particularly in this dance, is critically important to me. And if you put it out there wrong, I'm going to do my best to try and correct it. And I'm going to hope that you can be reached to the point of being pliable enough to understand and accept it. Shanette Haywood VZ said they probably even lying about not liking you. Some of these people are just weird. Yeah, that's true too. Somebody said that hair changes. Yes, that hair. Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, Cheryl, that's Cheryl here talking crazy. Cheryl, you're gonna see some come world's largest, baby. It's getting ready to be something else. Y'all gonna trip out on me on that one. Now, let me get down because I can rant about this whole unity thing all day. What I want to see is, I want to see my local people give their sets and get supported by the people in their locale. Then I want to see those local promoters get together and throw a regional set where all the people come together in your city and the surrounding cities. Then I want to see somebody put together national set in that community where everybody from your local community is actually supporting you before you put people out here you want people to come from all over the country. That's all I'm saying. That's what needs to happen, y'all. We've gotten this thing backwards. We started out backwards, and it's starting to come full circle because there's way too much happening and not enough all at the same time. How many times have we been to a set and nobody shows up? I've seen sets in places where, we throwing a set. Now, I'm going to say this again. If you're not building in your own community, if you're not building up a set, building up the people to come to the set in your community, if you're not building dancers in your community, you ain't got no business giving a set at all. Y'all heard it here. I'm going to say it again. If you're not building your community, building dancers with good instructors in your area, and have the unity of the people, the support of the people right in your own city, you ain't got no business giving no other kind of set. You don't need to be doing a national. You don't need to be doing none of that. I'm just saying. Y'all want to get the community on its feet the right way? Things got to be done the right way. There's an order to stuff. You can't put the cart before the horse. You just can't do it. That's right. Take care of home first. Thank you. Who said that? Reggie Miles. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Okay. Now, sure, here talking about that janky promoter. Y'all a mess. Now, let's get on to this other thing, y'all. It is competition season, y'all. Terrence Williams, I see you. Thank you for checking in. Smiling happily. How you doing? It's about to go down, y'all. Jana Olsen in the house. Now, in just a few weeks, a few short weeks, which, by the way, is my birthday weekend, Chicago will be on fire. Actually, let me stop. Before I even get to that, next week, Milwaukee's largest. This is the last preliminary before the world's largest. This is the last chance for anybody who wants to join the world's largest competition. Now, unfortunately, and this is my fault, I was remiss because I have had an extremely busy day and not on my square the way I should have been. I'm going to try to find this right quick. Let me see. The list of contestants for this year, y'all, is long. It was pretty long last year. Last year, we had the get down contest, which is not in it this year. Now, let me go back to Milwaukee's largest weekend. That is this weekend coming up, August 25th through 27th. Friday, the Prelude, the Q. They're going to be at 2730 North Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, from 8 until. DJ Vale will be in the building, and DJ KLC. All right. So Saturday, they're having a day party. DJ Vale again, DJ KLC. Sunday, let me see. Well, Saturday, that's the day party. Then the main event, Brookfield Conference Center, 325 South Moreland Road, Brookfield, Wisconsin, 7 p.m. to midnight. $25 in advance, $35 at the door, ample parking. DJ Cross will be in the building. And, of course, we know Pete Frazier and all the rest of the Chicago crew will be in the house. This is the last preliminary, and it will be going down at Milwaukee's largest weekend. Now, this is always a good set because there are purses involved in this one as well. The prelim and competition actually pays on this one, which a lot of people. Now, even though the list of people that will be in the actual world's largest is pretty long, it's about to get longer because this is where a lot of people wait for this last one to compete because there is a bag involved. And I'm trying to find, they had put up a list of contestants. Let's see. Well, I can't seem to find it right at the moment. I'm going to keep looking while I'm doing my thing here while we talking. But the competition this year, y'all, is going to be, I think, phenomenal. This is going to be one of them years, y'all, that we're going to see some outstanding dances, some people whose names you will get to know and not forget anytime soon. For the people who are coming into this dance that are fairly new, you're going to be exposed to another level of the game, if you ask me. You know, in recent years, I've been saying that I think we're having a sort of changing of the guard, if you will. And here's what I mean. We've been accustomed to certain names and certain things for so long now that the time is coming where particular individuals are beginning to make a name for themselves and make more of a mark in the community. Now, these are people, don't get me twisted. A lot of these people are people who have paid their dues, but they are coming up in the ranks, and things are beginning to shift. Like anything else, you're going to see more names, you're going to see more people, you're going to, be dealing with more in regard to who's who and what's what around the Steppers community. So my thinking, and I'm not gonna say the names yet. I'm gonna wait until we're closer to the actual world's largest event. But I've got a couple of picks. Now I want y'all to get y'all stuff together, pay attention to who's dancing, and get ready, because I've got a couple of favorites. I got a few individuals on my mind that I think are going to stand out tremendously. I've been paying attention to some of the people's dance and what they've done, what they're doing, and what I think is going to come out of this. And I think we're going to have a couple of what I like to refer to as sleepers. Y'all know I'm an old drag racer. And back in the day, when we be out there at the track or out there on the street drag racing, we had this thing called a sleeper. And for those of you who don't know what a sleeper is one of them kind of cars somebody would bring out, and it looked real plain, or it looked real, like, But if you listen real close, sound like that thing got a little something in it. And then you say to yourself, they got it all tricked out. There's an old trick we used to use back in the day out there racing. You take your exhaust pipes. Let's say you had dual exhaust pipes on your car, right? You take one of them and you cut it off way back up under the car and put a little flap over it so nobody could see it, and everybody think you're only running one pipe. And they knew if you had two pipes, you was breathing better. They call them sleepers. I personally think we got a couple of sleepers that's going to be coming out, that's going to do some things that we probably don't expect. So I'm looking forward to that. Lachey, I see you in the house. Thank you for coming through. Dallas Brown. I think that there are going to be people that are going to surprise us, and I am really looking forward to that. I was going to have my co-host on with me tonight, but he's over there at the harbor in Chicago doing their thing, where they got to get them last few good weekends, them good weeks in, because it's going to start getting a little chilly outside. They ain't going to be able to party at the harbor no more. So, Chicago weather, y'all. Belinda Foxette Jones. Hey, Belinda. That's my homie right there. See, Belinda, man, look, what would I do without you? Look here, y'all. Let me give Miss Belinda a straight shout out. That is listen, Belinda be on top of the game, baby. She sent me the list. Let me see if I can locate it. She be on it, man. She stays on top of the game. She made sure I had my list last year and I knew who was who, and everybody got me ready. Belinda, you are a gem, my dear. And in case y'all didn't know, that is a Steppin legend right there. So the cool thing is that I do believe that this contest is going to showcase some people that are lesser known, that are going to be phenomenal in the upcoming years. Daryl Davis in the house, another Steppin legend coming through. What's up, man? That's my homie right there. Now, y'all, let me tell y'all something. If you don't know Daryl Davis, or if you've never hung around Daryl Davis, I want y'all to know, all you got to do when you meet Daryl Davis, make him laugh. I promise you won't regret it. That man has the most wonderful laugh there is. Infectious. I'm talking about, I love when this dude just laughs. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyway. Yes. Now, it was just pointed out that Belinda also puts in the work at Texas Heat. Yes, she does. Belinda is my go-to. That's my troubleshooter. If I run into problems, I'm putting Belinda on y'all. I'm telling you now, she got me. But I do believe that this year's competition is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be different. It's going to be one to remember. That is my honest to God belief. Because We have people that haven't been out in a while, who haven't been in the game. We got people that are new in the game. We got people that other people know about, but never really seen get down for theirs. And I even have one person on my mind who I think people don't think is going to do anything. But I got a sneaking suspicion that this person has a rabbit in their hat that they're going to pull out. And I think everybody is going to be very shocked. So I'm going to save that information, though, till almost time for World's Largest, because I am so looking forward to it. Fortunately, we have no more events in front of us before that event. And I'm happy because I need a break. We've been all over the doggone place. I played, myself and DJ Mello played Houston this weekend. We had a great time, and we're going to chill for a minute. Now, the next thing after World's Largest, because we are talking about competition season, is Texas Heat. If you don't have your tickets and your reservations for Texas Heat, baby, you need to get that one. Yet another competition that promises to have. And now let me tell y'all what I love about the Texas Heat competition. People who don't want to be on the world's largest stage, because y'all know that's the biggest competition stage there is in Steppin, tend to gravitate a little more toward Texas Heat, and you get to watch a lot of people cut their teeth. You get to watch a lot of people come in and give fantastic dances and do a wonderful job. Lesser known individuals, people who are coming up in the game. It's sort of like it gives you, it puts you in the mind of, let me go do Texas Heat, and then I step up to the world's largest, and I think it's a wonderful thing. And I think what I really love, and I talked about this, I've been talking about it for the last few weeks, but y'all, the 70s party at Texas Heat is off the chain. I'm just saying. Y'all got to check that out. Netta McCormick all the way from California. Hey, thank you for checking in. That 70s party be bananas, y'all. That thing is off the hook. So get ready for that. But overall, it's interesting. When we have every year when World's Largest comes up, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not coming." Trina Allure in the building. How you doing, baby? They be like, "Oh, I ain't going out. I don't want to sit and watch no people dance." But you know what? It makes you wonder, though. We all love to dance. But now maybe y'all can help me out. Somebody help me with this. Tell me, because I hear people say, "Oh, I'm not going to that. I don't want to watch people dance. I want to dance too." What's wrong with, or is it just me? Maybe I'm crazy because I'm from there and this is, I'm about this life. But what's wrong with people going to watch other people, to watch the people that are in the upper echelons of the dance, if you will, the people who are willing to and bold enough to go and compete and be on a different level with it? There's a lot that can be learned just from watching. There's a lot that can be gleaned from the information you gain by simply being in the room. Now, I get it, but I don't get it. I don't know. Now, maybe it's just me. I'm crazy. That's what it is. No, I'm not. Let me stop. But I think that people could benefit. Cynthia Bean says I don't want to sit and watch one couple dance at a time. I remember watching 3 at a time, but that's just me. Well, that's fair, especially when you have so many. And unfortunately, let's keep it 100. Everybody shouldn't necessarily belong on that stage either. I'm pretty sure there won't be one at a time. I think the only time I've ever seen them do one at a time was when the numbers were low in enrollment. Let's see. Marky G said no different than the people who just like to listen to the music. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Well, thank you, Jana Wilson. Jana Wilson said, "My grandkids have learned all about stepping from your channel. We watch for hours." Thank you, Jana. I appreciate that. That's right. Let's groom the next generation. Let's bring them along. That's what's happening. Netta McCormick says, "Personally, especially as a baby in this thing, I glean from watching. In fact, I've gotten better by watching and learned new moves. I also learned the 6 count and no count, just grooving." There you go. C. Wan says, "I enjoy watching it on Inside Stepping instead." Thank you, C. Watts. It's a vibe. Love watching others and cheering them on. Me too, Casey Dansbury. Now, let me put this out there too, right quick. For those of you who will not be attending the world's largest in person, make sure that you have Inside Stepping subscribed on your television. Go to your televisions, your big screens, your smart TVs. Subscribe to the Inside Steppin' YouTube channel. When you do that, you will be able to watch this show live on your big screen. You can get your snacks and beverages of choice, sit back on your couch, turn this thing on, and we will be live and in living color for the world's largest competition. Now, I have to put this disclaimer out there before we do all of this. We're going to do our best to bring you the best, most comprehensive coverage that can be brought with our current technology. Last year we had it going pretty good until seemed like everybody. Let me tell you this weird thing that happens, right? I was literally in the room broadcasting, and people were in the room, literally in the same room as me, watching the competition on Inside Stepping on their cell phones. Now, let me tell y'all, my broadcast operates a lot of the time on cellular Wi-Fi. Rarely are we able to plug in a lot of these venues. When so many people are on those services all at the same time, it takes away our bandwidth a lot of times. So what happened was last year when Drew and Sean Bandy got up and did their portion of the competition in the get down, literally we almost completely lost service. Everybody in the room had their phone up and out. They were either recording live or something. So they just smashed us. But we did go back. Now, always remember this. We have the capability, and we will go back and we will put the footage back up that is not distorted or have any problems because of the service that we use. I'm just telling y'all now. So just bear with us. Blondina Dooley. We do have a different situation, though, for this year than we had last year. So we should have better coverage. I'm always trying to improve, y'all. I'm always trying to improve the equipment, and I'm always trying to make things better. And we'll do everything in our power to continue to do so. And I hope that you've all noticed the adjustments and changes that we made moving forward, every time. So, and that's just, something that I'm going to always do because I like to set my bar and reach it and climb higher if I can. Jana Olson says, "We live in Washington State. Maybe I'm mistaken, but there's no stepping culture here. Sad but true. So needless to say, we enjoy Inside Stepping." Jana, yes, you do have steppers up that way. Jana, I would ask you to reach out to either Keith Hubbard or Angie Fain. They're familiar with the majority of the people up in that region. Lisa Luckett, my fairy godmother, is in the building. How you doing, my dear? We are going to be doing something with Lisa here coming up in December, y'all. So get ready for that. I'll be promoting that here pretty quick, and I'm looking forward to working with her. Thank you, Danielle. Danielle Hill says they watched last year, and it was fabulous. Thank you. So we're going to continue to try and promote that. What were you saying, baby? Producer lady?
Don't forget to mention, I know you mentioned it already
Mm-hmm.
about Minnesota, but remember they have a best male dress contest.
Okay. All right.
With a
Huh?
nice
We
little
hadn't got to that.
background.
Thank you. Okay. So, what I want you all to be able to do is make sure, hey, Tiffany Smith, that you put this on your television. AAA is in the building. I see you, my man. Val Wells. Hey, Val. DJ Raven in the house. I want y'all to make sure that you have your TV set up already prior to the event. Go on YouTube on your big screen. Subscribe to Inside Steppin'. Hit that notification button. Okay, there we go. Jana Olson, do you see that? Cynthia Bean says Katharina Brown is in Washington State. I know they up in there. I know they up there. I cannot remember my man's name and his wife up there. Matter of fact, I know 2 or 3 couples up that way. So yes, that is definitely a thing. Kurt White in the house. That's what's up. What up, homie? So make sure you have this stuff set up on your TV prior to the event. That way, when the time comes for us to go live, all you got to do is kick back on your couch, like you watching a 7:00 movie, like back in the day. Sit back on your couch with your beverages of choice and your snacks, and watch this thing live and in living color. We got people all the way in Houston that are planning watch parties where they'll have people come through, and they get together and watch it as a group, and they get to comment and hang out and do the whole doggone thing from all over the country. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to be able to provide that. I'm looking forward to your feedback from it. Last year we did some pretty big numbers on that event, and and I'm happy that everybody was happy that we were able to do it. So y'all look forward to that. Now, right after we get done with, before I close out, when we get done with Texas Heat, well, before we go to Texas Heat, as a matter of fact, all of those are competitions. Milwaukee's largest this weekend coming. We got world's largest September, and Texas Heat first weekend in October. Now, right in between there, when we leave Chicago, hey Sheila White, when we leave Chicago to go to, we got to go right from there to Bloomington, Minnesota, y'all. Denim and Diamonds, my girl Valeria Connor is going down. We are going to have a ball. Now, speaking of competition, she's got a male best dress contest, and it's got a big old purse on it. So you fellas, y'all coming through Denim and Diamonds, make sure you got on your Sunday best, your maids, and come through and get the bag, because she got the bag for you. And it's always good when the guys show up. That to me is an excellent incentive to get more men in the building, because we always need more men in this dance. There's almost never enough men. So that's always a good thing. And shout out to Ted Williams, and I'm going to tell you why. This weekend while we were in Houston, I did one of the things that he does. I stopped the party, and I had all of the fellas get up and go and dance with all the ladies in the room. And when we got that completed, everybody was happy. That was a great thing. I'm happy we were able to do that. So I just stole that from Ted, because we did that in Little Rock at his event a couple of weeks ago. So that was a beautiful thing. All right. Now, I am not going to keep y'all too much longer, because I'm hungry. I'm hangry. And but I do want to say, take under consideration the things that I've said in regard to unification in your locale. Understand this, y'all. In order for the national community to grow the way that it needs to, we have to grow our local sets together and first. Wait a minute. El Lamar says, peace and love to you and Mrs. I've actually learned more and study moves from competitions. Even viewing events from your broadcast helps infuse the culture and helps one choose a style to make own. There you go, El Lamar. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that is part of our purpose. Our purpose is to make sure that you are able to take not just the information that somebody decides they want to give you. We want to give you all the information, and therefore you can make decisions. The whole point of Inside Steppin' is so that you as a consumer of Steppin', you as a lover of this dance and this culture, get to make an informed choice. If we give you the information, you decide what to do with it. But we're going to put it out there. So Sheila Weiss says, I have to do eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Texas Heat or Chicago. I can't answer that one for you. Netta McCormick says, yes, more men. That was cool, ushering the men and the women to the dance. Yes, absolutely, Netta. Thank you. So in closing, y'all, I want to encourage everybody to build in your communities. Build your communities. Make sure that you're making a difference where you live. Let's see. Karen Nichols says, Brian, when you are traveling to a venue for broadcast, how easy is it for you to do your sound checks and other assessments in advance? Is this always done on the same day of the event? Yes. In fact, Karen, it is often done within a few moments of the actual event. Depending on, and a lot of that has to do, see, there's a lot that people don't know about what goes on behind the scenes with Inside Steppin. I try to make sure that it stays consistent. It can be a serious challenge because number one, I'm always trying to figure out how to consolidate equipment where we travel, because for me, traveling, flying in particular, is a challenge because we have bags, plural, of equipment, between computers and cameras, tripods, and all the other stuff that goes, the peripheral stuff that goes with the broadcast. We have to carry all of this stuff with us through TSA and all this type of thing. And then when we get to an event, depending on when our flight lands, if everything goes as planned, as expected, we get there within enough time to get set up, do sound checks, try to make sure things are in order. And even in doing sound checks, it can be a challenge because sometimes when we actually go live, some of the dynamics shift and we have to then make adjustments on the fly sometimes. This is just one small aspect of all of the things that take place in that. And so that's why, and I'm going to put this out there to my audience, to all of y'all. That's why when we're on the line, when you see us live somewhere, if you hear something or see something that looks off about our broadcast, we are absolutely open to hearing your feedback. If we're speaking and it sounds like we in there screaming and the thing is popping and making all kind of weird noise, let us know. Tell us in the comments. That makes it easier for me to make adjustments and make it as perfect as I can so that everybody else can hear what we hear or see what we see. A lot of times, Michael Samsonite, they absolutely, you got jokes. Michael Samsonite said, TSA, move your stuff around. Yeah, he's laughing because when we were in Huntsville last month, and one of my power cords was missing from where I usually have it, and apparently TSA moved it, and I was cussing and fussing and going on, and I finally found it, and he goes, see, they just moved it. Anyway, what's happening, Samsonite? My man, DJ Samsonite, y'all. So it's just one of those things. Super Dave and Sweet Carolyn in the building all the way out of Las Vegas. So it's just one of those things where we do the best that we can with what we have to try and make it happen. And keep in mind, I'm still a one-man show. Yes, there will come a time that I look forward to the time when I can bring other people on board and be able to teach others to do what I do. Because let's keep it 100. I'm not gonna be able to do this forever. There are things that go on in other cities, and I would love to have other people be able to provide me with feeds and different things so that we can run it through the show and be able to cover a lot more stuff. There's a lot of things I want to do for the future, and if we continue to get your support as we have gotten over the last few years, if we continue to get the support of the community, and by the way, for those of you who have donated and donate to this show, y'all have no idea how much I appreciate and love you, and you all help to keep the lights on and make this thing do what it do. Make it that much easier on us. It makes it so that we can continue to improve our product. We kind of like PBS over here. We don't get paid and have salaries and all of that. So the PBS donations is what keeps that station alive. The donations help to keep Inside Steppin alive, and we appreciate each and every one of them. I had a fellow walked up to me in Arkansas the other day, and he said, "Hey man, I'm so and so. I'm the guy," and I knew who he was because he had donated to the show. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. You humble me. Y'all humble me when you do that, and it just makes it that much better. And we love y'all for that. Thank you. KT Progression. Thank you for being a fan of the show. We appreciate you as well. So like I was saying, Bruce Palmore in the house. What's up, brother? Yes, sir. So it's I want to make sure that I show my appreciation the best way that I know how, and that is a huge thank you to those supporters that help to keep us in the game. We appreciate every bit of it. Stephen Wright in Milwaukee. What color do you wear for the big show? I think you're asking what color we gonna wear this year. I don't know. Myself and my co-host, y'all, I'm having Ambassador Kevin Nevels, DJ Ambassador Kevin Nevels, who is at the harbor right now, playing his box. We have not decided on a color theme for this year. We're working on it. We talked about it the other night, but we're gonna try to look good though, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I gotta end the show. Listen, y'all. For those of you who, like I said, have those smaller communities and that you need to grow, find a way to get together, y'all. Find a way to work together the best way you know how. Find a way to work it out. That's what y'all need to do. David Johnson says, my man Super Dave said, this Saturday, August 26th, legendary Steppers Jam hosted by Super Dave and Sweet Carolyn, 3550 West Cheyenne Avenue, Las Vegas, Nevada, Life Legacy Venue. So y'all check that out. If you in Vegas this weekend, y'all out there rolling the felt, go see my man Super Dave. He got you. So the whole thing is, y'all, try as hard as you can to build in your local communities like my man Super Dave. Work with the people around you. A lot of people don't show up at events because they're like, I'm not supporting that person. I'm not supporting this. I'm not supporting that. But remember that when you do these things, you also hurt your community. So support your community, y'all. That's what you need to be doing. And it just makes things better. So I'm going to read my quote before I go as the last thing I do. Before I tell you all good night, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you so much because y'all make this show what it is. Without the people, baby, we got nothing. Without each other, this dance don't mean nothing. That's real talk. We have to work together, whether we like it or not. We got to figure out new ways to make this thing do what it does, y'all. We got to let Steppin step on, and we can do that. Now, never measure an event by the quantity of people in attendance, but by the quality of the memories that you create with the people who are present. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to have a good night. I love y'all, and I'm going to see you again next Tuesday. Have a good night, everybody.